So baby was found at the base of the tree that she was most likely nesting in, and she was far too young to be out. She was not quite in that fledging stage, and so she was brought to us, and between the work of our wildlife manager, Lori Lamaro, and our veterinarian, Dr. Rebecca Vincent, they recognized that she was likely born with juvenile cataracts over her eyes, which is pretty common in babies, and that can be something where as they're developing in their egg, maybe their egg gets bonked, and the eyes as they're developing are like, okay, cataracts are what we use to protect ourselves. Or maybe after they hatch, they get their head bonked and the cataracts are once again protecting the eyes. So what we think happened is the parents maybe recognized that she was non-reactive to them visually. And in the wild, there aren't special doctors or nannies or optometrists who can help with a blind baby owl. So wild parents have to make really hard decisions when it comes to poor quality young. And a lot of the time that does simply mean abandoning them. And so we think she was most likely pushed out of her nest because a blind baby is going to need assistance from her parents forever. And so she was brought to us, like I said, with the work of Lori and our veterinarian. They were able to use medication to clear the cataracts, but it took quite a few months of juvenile care because when they're young, that is a crucial time to make sure they are being properly nourished, they're being properly taught what to do in the wild. So the nourishing part was happening from us. The medication aspect was, but we aren't owls, so we weren't able to teach her how to hunt. We weren't able to teach her how to detect and avoid predators. And we certainly weren't able to teach her that winter is tough. And that's one of the biggest learning lessons for owls, is that first winter of their life, things get rough, and if you don't do well, you typically don't survive it. So for her living with us, she didn't learn the proper things she needs to live in the wild. So she is an imprint, which does not mean she wants me to tickle her or hug her or kiss her. She certainly doesn't want any of that. But it does mean she's not afraid of people. So not only did she not learn the proper skills, but she's not afraid of people, which would mean she would bring herself closer to the road in an attempt to maybe approach people and be like, hey, I'm pretty hungry and creatures like you bring me food all the time. Let's go, I'd like a mouse. And she could get hit by cars. She could get hurt by hunters who might see her as a bad omen or something that could be dangerous to them. But she loves to people watch. That is one of her favorite things. So being on perch like she is right now is just her bread and butter. And she also likes to turtle watch. I can't tell if it's a despise or interest in turtles, but the cool thing is she lives in an enclosure where she gets to turtle watch on a daily basis, and that's pretty good for her in enrichment. But the other thing being, her vision isn't perfect. Even though the cataracts were cleared, we jokingly say she would be the type of owl that would need glasses in order to survive in the wild and be an efficient hunter. And of course, there aren't owl glasses right now, and even if there were, there's not an eye doctor in the wild to update her prescription as her eyes change as she gets older. So she's non-releasable in the sense that she doesn't know what the heck she's doing out there, she is not afraid of people, and her vision isn't perfect.